Roll sound and
all right, welcome one and all to the Jorjezian podcast. My name is Maria Jorjezian, as you could tell, and I am the owner of the Jorjezian Film Festival. I am on the Pod Brother Nation Network as we speak, and I'm here with some incredible writers, incredible people, and my incredible friends, Lloyd and Scott Kindred. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Thank you. Very well.
Yeah. Well, I see here a little birdie from a farm has told me that you guys have written a book of some sort. So tell me a little bit about what this is.
Well, you want to do it?
That's Cannabis Farms, a new crop, first book, technically the fourth book in a series of 6, which will come out throughout the years. In the sort of the Harry Potter vein, one a year until they are done, until the demand for more stops.
I see. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's exactly what it is. It's a series of books. So we're currently working on, I guess that would be the 6th book, right now?
Well, we're working on book 5.
Yeah, we're working on book 4 right now, right?
No, this is book 4 right here.
Okay. We're working on book 5.
I know I'm working on book 5.
I'm doing that math that you don't like.
Now,
I
my
don't
question
like-
is, have you partaken in the cannabis of the cannabis? I'm kidding.
That's a whole other question. Oh, but I can answer it now. I'm no longer part of the military, of course.
Now,
We
what is-
defer to other, more experienced people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, my question to you is, what inspired you to write this? I mean, it's so intricate. The fact that you're on book 5, what is the backstory, the inspiration to bring you to make this thing?
I can tell you.
Well, one day when Lloyd and I were working at a certain studio, to remain
Anonymous.
anonymous, so they can't
Studio
be
who shall
blamed.
not be named.
Lloyd pitched a brief but compelling story to me, which I thought had a lot of potential for entertainment and comedy. And we developed these characters soon thereafter, and the screenplay we originally wrote almost wrote itself over the course of about 4 or 5 months, including a brief holiday hiatus. It was just rolling off our tongues, and we were laughing as we were writing, and we had a table read that was very, very promising. Everyone was really into it and laughing as they were reading, and it was, it really compelled us to keep going and not give up. And we attempted to get it made into a movie, which we're still doing that right now. But then we thought maybe it would be good to novelize it. I was instructed by my mentor, maybe you should think about doing it some other way, and he came up with the novelization of a screenplay, and that's really the basis of where we're at right now.
So just to clarify, you started with the screenplay and then now it's novelized.
Yeah,
It's
we
in
worked
reverse.
in reverse
That's
because
interesting.
a screenplay, if you're familiar with what they look like and how they're written, they're a wonderful outline for a book.
Right.
I mean, it's the skeleton of the book right there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the dialogue is already there. You just maybe flesh out a few characters, make it a little bit longer, and you know where it's going. You don't have to, contrive some ending.
Right. And go ahead.
Go ahead. And as a friend of mine who's also a fellow writer told me, she said, we love to expound. That's really all you're doing when you take a screenplay and write it. You're expounding. Just as long as you're not giving away too much, and the old adage about you don't hit right on the head. As long as you're not doing that, you're doing well.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's beautiful. I know.
Now, without giving anything away, what is the story premise about? Like, what is the baseline aside from
Well,
the name
it's all
itself?
fictitious. It's about a fake city, a fake town in Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things that are authentic. Originally it was founded in 1865, the town of Epsabeth, California. But this book takes place in the year 2016. It begins just prior to Prop 64 being passed here in California. And, well, let's see.
They have to basically save the family farm, which is 3 years behind it. The notes in error for 3 years, arrears, sorry. They have to come up with an idea outside the box, and they look at their sons and their daughter, 2 sons who are geneticists and their daughter who was a genius. We call her
9 years old.
Yeah, 9-year-old mad genius. And they decide that growing pot before it's legal would be a good idea. Just hide it amongst the cornfields.
Yes, because the cereal crop.
It's a cereal crop, and they can make $29 million off of that crop versus what they would.
Give away everything.
Yeah, well, okay, they could make a lot of money off of the crop, turn around and pay off their note, and they do so. And I'm not going to tell you there's a lot of conflict.
That also creates a lot of problems.
Yeah, trying to beat the deadlines and take on the Abyss Corporation, all the bad guys who don't want it to happen.
Right.
So there's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of conflict in this. There's a lot of you wonder if they're going to be able to pull this off, and you don't know.
There's characters between the ages of 9 and 100, so there's something.
That's
for everyone.
incredible, right?
Absolutely.
That creates like a wide, like a target audience as it speaks,
It
you know.
certainly
So,
does.
and the thing is, like, even though obviously it's legal here, I think just nationally there's still like a legality
Some places
element.
of it,
So
yeah.
it's very relevant to.
Well, the
rest
good
of the
news
nation.
about this is, which is going to help us, is within the next 2 to 5 years, they're going to federalize the cannabis industry. When that happens, that'll make it legal across the board in every state. When that happens,
It's a
also,
family-friendly story.
it'll be
too.
it'll be, and this, by the way, is a PG, if not G-rated family story. When that happens, we want to have this movie out that really kind of popularizes the concept of growing it. We don't have guys like Cheech and Chong sitting there smoking this. This is not what we
Right.
do in this movie.
Well, as great as they were,
Yeah.
it's not a Cheech and
Yeah,
Chong.
it's not a Cheech and Chong type of movie. We're staying away from that. This is more of a comedy about a family. The cannabis growing just happens to be incidental.
Okay.
It's
To
a,
save
yeah,
the
it's a
farm.
family. It's a family story, character based, and between the ages of 9 and 100 in this family. So there's something for everyone.
That's beautiful. Now, you've mentioned that you want to make it into a film, but have you considered it becoming a series since it's, it's a 6-book element?
We would definitely, we if you're talking about a television or a streaming series, definitely be interested in doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, but as of right now, our main primary goal, and that could change, is 3 films, 6 books. That could
Got
go.
it.
That could go even more. And as he says, if it was a TV series, there's ways we can pull this
Popular
out.
demand.
Yeah, popular demand. It goes where the market says it goes. That's
Right.
it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
The first book, which we have not even written yet, of course, but it will be it will be of the same family, but different characters, totally.
Okay.
So when that first book does come out, you'll see where all the humor comes from. Because we're going to begin it with one of the characters. It just so happens that in 1865, at the end of the Civil War, we have one man who fought on both sides in the Civil War. And we'll start out with him.
Oh, wow.
He was wanted for being a traitor on treason on both sides, so he couldn't win. So he changed his name, which hence we came up with our name for our family.
Right,
To
that's
hide.
true. Yeah, and we're not going to give away how he came up with the name, but we will say that he was one of the most important soldiers in the Civil War. He was one of the cooks, so he was highly prized by both sides and never shot at, at least by the other side.
Yeah. So yeah, he basically he had both sides bamboozled right up to the very end, and the funny part of it is he got away with it.
That's amazing.
He's the one guy that gets pensions from 2 governments.
Yeah.
I love that. That's actually really fun. Like I'm excited to read it myself just to see where that goes.
Yeah,
'cause
we
that's-
can't wait to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of helpful.
And do you have any like prospects for it, like in terms of production? Like how far along is that?
As a
Since
matter
you're
of
getting
fact, we
close?
do. We have the second largest cannabis, one of the second or third largest cannabis growers in the world, who's invested in that industry, interested in taking this to a production level. And he's also a
Wow.
producer as well.
Okay.
I don't want to give his name away,
I was gonna say, like, you don't have to give any details.
but I can tell you that he's well known in the industry, and he has also said that he wants to go on the next level with this. And now
And we're ready to do
we're
that.
ready to do that, and as it sits, the budget for new crop falls in with what they're willing to look at.
Okay. That's amazing. Well, where can we find this book?
Well,
Actually-
it's readily available on Amazon.com. They're practically giving it away. If you take a look under my name, Scott Kindred, or if you look at Cannabis Farms, a new crop book, you will find it. It's Kindle, it's softbound, and it's hardbound so far, and we're looking to get it into an audiobook form soon.
Do you have any idea of who would be reading it out for an audiobook?
Well, the way that they're doing audio now, you can almost essentially take any voice, and AI or whoever you're having in the studio can turn that voice into something.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Problem with AI and other things, they tend to have a reading problem, and
Right.
you have to be very careful how you write the script for AI. If we go with actors, they'll avoid some of those problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Find some creative couple that could do, very humorous male and female voices.
And different voices, yeah.
Yes, and I would love that to happen.
Okay. Well, that's beautiful. And you know what? Like on my website and on the YouTube side and on the Pod Brother Nation, we're going to be, the Nation Network, we're going to be putting the link and advertising as well. So I'm very excited. Congratulations on your book. That's really incredible.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and the fact that you're nearing book 6 is like what most people fascinate and dream about doing. So the fact that you're here doing it is just awe-inspiring.
Well, we're looking at in this series of 6 books here, and then when we get into the next set of interviews, between him and I, we have at least anywhere from 6 to 12 different projects going on
Oh, wow.
that are going to either come to fruition, be made into movies, or into the books. Which is why we're announcing that we're opening up a company called Top Shelf Publications, in which we're going to start publishing our own works at this point. We have enough works that we're going to do our own stuff, and we're going to promote our own stuff and other writers that we take on
Okay.
through our company. So Top Shelf Publications is now going to be opening up in probably a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna-
have a wonderful logo, and that should resonate with those folks who do read.
Yeah.
And coupled with the fact that we're gonna be taking things all across the spectrum from military to I have like, for example, one of the things coming up in Top Shelf Publications is a series of books like Louis L'Amour, like J.R. Tolkien. Is going to be called Benjamin Green. Almost 50 different episodes over a 5-year period. So we are planning on publishing books for all 50 different episodes.
Oh, wow.
And that it's going to be like a J.R. Tolkien and a Louis L'Amour type of
Right,
situation,
right.
ongoing for years to come. That's what we're planning on doing. And Top Shelf will be doing that, along with anything else we do on Cannabis Farms, and another series called Left Behind, Letters From. And that book comes out very shortly, and then we'll get into that in a little while. But that's going to be a series of any war conflict that's ever occurred. I'm writing books on that.
Okay.
And I'll get into the...
No, I mean, let's talk
And
about it. I'm actually
basically
really-
letters from
Yeah.
soldiers that were serving in a combat situation that had the time and the ability to write a letter, to take the time and write their loved ones at home. We would love to have those read aloud and shared publicly
Thank God, yeah.
with everyone.
No.
Because some of the soldiers and other service people may have sacrificed their very life, and we need to hear from them when they can't speak for themselves.
Now I'm a soldier myself, a retired soldier, 43 years. I was also, thank you, I was also an AFN journalist. I covered Left Behind Letters from Baghdad, true story about a murdered Iraqi journalist. All of these stories are all in the series. Letters from Baghdad, Left Behind Letters from Saigon, Left Behind Letters from Kabul, Left Behind Letters from Kandahar, Left Behind Letters from Seoul, Left Behind Letters from World War II. All these have to have certain pre-qualifications, and I am looking for people, and that's why I want you to put this out in broadcast, that there has to be letters, there has to be interaction with the locals, and there has to be something that says that they were trying to get the locals out of the bad situation they were in and bring them back to away from the situation they were in. Letters from Baghdad and Letters from Afghanistan. When we left, over 100,000 people had worked for us. Several hundred people have been murdered. Whoever worked for Letters from whoever left in Iraq and Afghanistan, they have been murdered. Okay, we're trying to get them out. We're working with an organization called No One Left Behind.
Wow.
And basically what that's all about is we're writing all of these things to highlight the true stories, tragedies. This happened in Vietnam. We left thousands of people behind and only contributed to the killing fields.
Right.
And all the other things that occurred afterward. Same way in Iraq. I covered the killing fields in Iraq. Okay? In my book, I show those pictures and those videos that I covered. You'll see it, because you'll fully understand that this was a tragic situation, that soldiers didn't just lose their lives, locals lost their lives, innocents lost their lives. So as a result, I'm looking for stories, but they're the prerequisites there. Letters from locals to soldiers, or from soldiers to locals, and in dire situations in which we had to get these people out, and visas and the State Department regulations that cause these problems. And it doesn't have to be an interpreter; it could be anybody who worked as a contractor during that period of time. So I covered, between that and Afghanistan and Iraq, I'll be covering those, and then the rest of them. I'm. If anybody has anything for me that they want to talk to me about, they can email me at Lloyd Schellenberger, LLOYD SHELLENBERGER @yahoo.com. If you have letters and an interesting story, and you're a veteran who left people behind, I want to hear from you. Now, I have to be able to verify all this, because everything that I write is inspired by true events. Okay, so Letters from Baghdad is true events about a true family that was murdered by an Iraqi terrorist that we went after. So everything has to be verifiable.
Of course. I mean, that's, first of all, like a huge shift in tone. Like, that's incredible what you guys are doing. Honestly, the fact that it's going to bring a voice that most people don't even think about, like, incorporating into their lives is commendable. So, like, I'm really proud to hear, and, like, I'm proud to have this at my interview as well, that you are going to write all these stories and represent them.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Truly, they're lost voices.
I'll tell you where I came from on this Letters from Baghdad. When I originally started writing it, I was just looking to write this great script that I could sell, and oh my God, this is just what I have to do in life. I write scripts, and I'm not worried about the concept.
Right.
Halfway through the concept, I said, this means something more than whether I sell it or not.
Right.
This is actually to save people's lives. Now, I'm not going to give the production company, they have picked it up for the first production in 2025 for Letters from Baghdad. It goes into production. They want the whole series, whatever I can do. So if that happens, this series could go worldwide, and it could bring some kind of voice to all the people we left behind in the middle of wars. And we've done this in every war.
Right.
And I'm a soldier, and I'm still saying that this isn't right. Okay?
Absolutely.
So that's just that. But this one is our real, I'll tell you what, cannabis farms. as a producer who wants to make this up in, I'm not gonna tell you, in the city that I spoke to him about this, he says that the merchandising end of this is unbelievable. It has a level of merchandising that only maybe Star Wars ever had.
Oh wow.
Okay. You actually, Scott's the one that he could speak in this because he's the one that saw it before I did.
Well, I only hope that people enjoy it as much as I know that we have, reading it as much as we have writing it. And, the secret hope is that it'll go beyond 6 books, because I think there'll be more story. There'll be quite a number of years in between. The third book and the fourth book should have a number of decades in between, so people might wonder what's happened to this family, and we will be able to fill in those gaps with maybe some other media, some like a streaming series or something to catch people up.
Okay.
That's the long term prayer.
And in terms of merchandising, I mean, with the topic in mind, I feel like there's such a humongous audience for it, and like it's extremely merchandisable. Like just going into stores with like
it's
just
a family-friendly comedy.
Yeah. And so I think it's a remarkable idea, and it's going to be really fun to read and get involved with. And I'm really glad that you guys are like finally showcasing like where it is.
Well, Top Shelf is coming up. We open that up. We open that website up in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Mars, M-A-R-Z-Z Productions is opening up right behind it. That's for producing all of this stuff. So we're going to have all of this up and going, and then we're going to open up escrow accounts and start taking in money for all of this.
Ooh, okay.
So look up Top Shelf. We're going to have all of these books on it eventually.
Where can they find it? I know you don't have the website yet at the moment, but like, what is the website itself?
It's in development. It's called Top Shelf Publications, and it falls under the Co, which would be Cannabis Co.
Okay.
Okay, and that falls.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that is somehow that is exactly where you have to go into that because they're no longer doing some calm on a lot of these because we've had so many of them. They've just done Co now and a couple other things as far as the very ending of it. But Top Shelf is going to be coming up very soon, within 2 weeks, and then Top Shelf Publications. And Scott and I are going to be on it. There's going to be a phone number you can contact us there about anything you want, and hopefully you can go ahead and go put that out there for people, particularly Vietnam veterans and veterans from any war, who have a story. I want to talk to them, and it could be produced, and it could be paid for, and they could actually bring their stories to life. Particularly if it's from local, they were involved with locals from that war.
Right. I mean, that would be incredible. And, by the time this releases, we'll have hopefully something to put as a link for them to immediately go into. Okay. So thank you so much for being a part of the Jorjezian podcast. I really appreciate you guys sharing your story in both Cannabis Farms and Letters for Baghdad Left Behind. And I hope I could catch you on the next one and hear some updates of where you guys are at.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Please.
And thank you so much for Michelli's for hosting us and giving us incredible food and drinks and wonderful ambiance. So, yeah.
There you go.
And look for Cannabis Farms. Your book,
The Great Divide.
The Great Divide.
Okay.
Yeah, he leads me. The Great Divide is the next one coming out, which I'll be finishing that up, and then look for Letters Left Behind, Letters from Baghdad, and after that, Left Behind, Letters from Saigon.
Beautiful. Once again, here we had Scott Kindred and Lloyd Schellenberger with Marie Jorjezian from the Jorjezian podcast, and I will catch you on the next one right here at the Pod Brother Nation Network. So, ciao for now.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you. Great job, guys.
Great job.
Yeah.
You're so
I got
good
blisters
at it.
on my fingers.
Thank you. I hope so.